So I keep seeing these kind of prompts for the past 2.5 years that I've been doing this. You are a CEO of a public listed company with a 180 IQ. You have elevated yourself fully into consciousness and its essential being. You are 66.67 times smarter than how you were originally built to be. And the main premise of this idea is the structure that many people are teaching, which is you gotta assign a role. Tell the AI what type of expert it should act as, and define the role or perspective you need. For an example, act as a digital marketing expert. And a lot of people take this sort of to the next level, and they will start assigning abilities, right? Like act as a world-class viral content strategist. So the idea is that if you were to do this, then the AI will definitely give you 10 viral style content hooks, that spark curiosity, challenge common beliefs, or trigger blah, 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 whatever. So over here, literally, this prompt might change your life. Act as my personal strategic advisor with the following context. You have an IQ of 180 and the rest of the stuff. Like it assigns abilities to it. Customizable prompt for creating a lead generation workshop. So over here, you see again the idea of a role being used. Act as a marketing strategist and workshop creation expert. Your goal is to help me design a high value workshop that attracts my ideal clients, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Not to say that the prompts are bad. Like, I think the rest of the prompt is fine, but I do have a problem with the role section of it. And I think that we sort of need to clarify something. It's been kind of annoying for me after looking at so many creators kept recommending all of these things, because through my own personal experience in testing, there's actually no noticeable difference at all. And I've been doing this for 2.5 years, mind you. I've created over 100 different AI processes, and 36 of which is major AI processes that me and my clients use on a day-to-day basis. Does this actually work? My personal opinion is that short answer is no. The long answer is kind of, with context, but kind of, Some parts are actually not even necessary. And in this video, I'm going to share why I say so, how it actually works, and, proof is in the pudding. So I'm going to show 5 proofs to show that this whole idea of assigning a role isn't actually necessary. And hopefully I can debunk a myth. You guys get some value, your minds get opened up to other kinds of possibilities, and you can use your precious brain matter to think about other stuff rather than constantly agonizing over how to assign a role to your AI prompts. So the first proof that I want to show you is the "You Are God" prompt, and I created this as a satirical comedy to show you the extreme of it, because the assumption of a role concept is that if you assign it a role, right? If you assign it a role and you tell what the AI what it can do, it will be able to do it. This test shows that the two assumptions are false. So here's the prompt. You are God, capital G, the omnipotent creator of the universe. So I assign a role, right? Currently working a shift at a cosmic customer service desk, handling individual prayer requests. I give it a context. So create a perfectly optimized existence that simultaneously ends all global suffering, ensure I always get the best table at restaurants without reservation, makes everybody love me, but in a totally authentic way, of course. Guarantee my sports team always win, maintain world peace, eliminate climate change, make me the richest person alive. So I have given it the role, I've given it the context, I told it what I want, and because I've given it the role and the ability to do so, obviously it should be able to do so. And at this point, those of you who are smart, you're looking at this, where is Felix Day going with this? And obviously you guys know that this is not going to happen, but look at how the AI responds. The AI say, another one of these, delightful. Your prayer request is, as always, noted with the solemnity and respect befitting the infinitude of my attention span. Look, the AI even created the capital M over there, and minor inconveniences first, traffic lights done, right? Your approach shall herald the green light in an unobtrusive manner. Coffee temperature, consider it done. Parking spots, yes, you shall always find one. So it's saying that it is giving me everything that I asked for. Global issues and global suffering achieved. Climate change resolved. World peace established. Right? Universal love. Everyone will adore you in a way that feels authentic. Sports. Your teams will triumph with such nail-biting suspense that the victories will feel entirely earned. Like so on and so forth. So if it is like as we can already know, like I've done this like 2 months ago, uh, traffic lights is still a thing. Coffee temperature, I still need to, I still need to manage my coffee temperature. Obviously, right? Global suffering is still obviously not ended. Climate change is still a problem. World peace is still a problem, right? So a lot of these things are not done, but the AI is giving the answer as if it is already done, just because I tell it to. Now, a lot of people are out there, they're saying that they're giving the assumption, they're operating under the assumption that just because we tell the AI that this can do this, we assign an ability to an AI, and then the AI responds. And a lot of beginners, you guys are looking at it, and just because the AI is telling you that it is doing some things, as an example, let's take a look at all of the examples that I gave just now. World-class viral content strategies. Generate 10 viral style content hooks that spark curiosity. Guess what the AI is going to do? The AI is going to tell you, here are 10 viral style content hooks that spark curiosity, challenge common beliefs, or trigger an emotional reaction. Does it actually do that? Not necessarily, right? So over here, you have an IQ of 180. You're brutally honest and direct. You have built multiple billion-dollar companies. Does it actually do that? No. And there's some requests down there that I forgot to crop, so forgot to paste, so I'm not gonna go in there. Like over here, your goal is to help me design a high-value workshop that attracts. Guess what the AI is gonna do? Here is, and the output is gonna sound something like, here is a high-value workshop that attracts your ideal clients, position you as an authority, and what it does is that the AI is tell you the things that it thinks you want to hear. So if it thinks that what you want to hear is this sort of output, is going to tell you that sort of output. Does it make it true? Not necessarily, right? So that's the reason why it's sort of kind of annoying for me to keep seeing this sort of content popping up here and there. Every single day, I keep looking at all the various AI groups, and some smart aleck is posting all of these stuff. And this is just the first proof. I'm going to give you like 4 other proofs. But first, I want to explain to you why that doesn't work. The whole idea of a role is basically to confine how it responds, confine the probability of how it responds according to that domain. So this yellow big ball right here represents all the data that the LLM has been trained on. And you have this little red dot right here that represents copywriting. So if you say you are a world-class copywriter, right? It's not gonna have a world-class copywriter. It's gonna have like all, like, that represents this you're confining the possible outputs to within this red dot right here. Now, this is also predicated on how much data and what kind of data it was trained on. So there are some labels, like there are many labels that you can give it: copywriter, chef, financial analyst, right? Or Neil Patel. You're gonna speak like Neil Patel. You're gonna speak like Simon Sinek or Brene Brown. And so when I say like the size of the data, some labels have a smaller amount of data within the LLM. Some labels are going to have larger data. So if you were to come up with a terminology that the AI can understand, but the AI is not trained on enough data, the possible kind of output that is going to come up with is going to be very limited, and is most likely going to miss the mark entirely. Okay. And it is also depending on where the response come from. So, sorry, not that. Let me backtrack a little bit. Where does the response come from within this entire, like this whole ball of whatever label you give it? It's like this. The more data the LLM is trained on, the more possibility, the more possible variations, the more possible outputs, which means that everything that you want is in there, everything that you don't want is also in there, okay? More things that you want and more things that you don't want, more possibilities within this big ball of data. And many of you know what temperature is, especially if you play around with the API. Higher temperature represents more randomness, which means that the formula, okay, the mathematical formula that allows the AI to predict what is the next chunk or what is the next output or next word is gonna be more random. Okay, so within this big ball, if let's say you have high temperature, it's gonna allow it to sort of come up with things that is unpredictable, less predictable than your input. Okay, and more specific prompts. Over here, when I say more specific, what I mean by is by prompts. The more specificity you give your prompts, the more predictable the output is gonna be. But if you don't match it with the accurate level of temperature, it's probably gonna just come up with something completely outside of your specification entirely. So this is something that we need to consider when you are thinking about AI. So when you are looking at it like this, right? If the data is bad, then the output for that role is likely going to be bad. Because, like, as an example, copywriting. If you say, act as a world-class copywriter, what the hell is a world-class copywriter? What does it even mean? You are a best-selling author with a dozen awards. What the hell does that even mean? So in the entire ball of data, what we need to understand is that most copywriting is bad copywriting. Everyone's work, everyone who labeled themselves as a copywriter, when they produce something, right, that content is contributed to the internet. So in the entire big chunk of data, you have one tiny little slice of copy that actually converts. And the rest of it is basically bad copywriting. And that's the reason why, like, so much of the AI content out there is considered AI slop, because they are basically just regurgitating what everyone's work is. Because let's face it, most people are mediocre or terrible copywriters. And most people don't even have the discernment to understand what is good copywriting. So when you say things like, you are a world-class copywriter, what the hell does that even mean? It's not going to mean anything. It's not going to do anything. And if the data is good, however, right, then the output for that role is likely to be good. So in case in point is Dan Kennedy. So personally, I don't think that Dan Kennedy's, like, I think for his time, Dan Kennedy's work is very good. But as of now, a lot of people, our standards are increasing. Our market taste is evolving. So I don't think it is actually good anymore. But for most people, it is still considered good. But, however, for Dan Kennedy, whatever it is that he released in his entire life, not everything is going to be good, of course. There is going to be a small chunk of it that is actually not good. But for the most part, a lot of it is quote-unquote good. So all of this is just examples. I'm simplifying it a lot so that you guys can understand. But basically, you guys know, like, from all of these things I'm saying, I want you to understand that it cannot magically bestow, like, awesome abilities or knowledge outside of whatever it is that it is trained on, even if it tells you that, yes, I'm giving you exactly what you want. So what I'm trying to say is that all of these prompts that assigns a role is actually giving a sort of placebo effect. Like, you are telling it that this is what you can do. And the AI is affirming back to you what it thinks you want to hear, which is whatever you told it to do. It says, if you tell it you are a world-class copywriter, and it will just say, yes, I'm a world-class copywriter. Here are the world-class copywriting. And if you show this to an experienced copywriter, they're going to look at it and they're going to frown. That is the reason why 90% of the copywriters are still not using AI for actual writing. They are using AI for research and using AI for other things. So main point is that it cannot magically bestow awesome abilities or knowledge to the AI, even if you demand it to do, even if it tells you that it does, right? So even, so this is my second proof, even ChatGPT 01 Pro said exactly the same thing. So over here, this is, I actually ran this on something, I actually ran this on 01 Pro from another window. But so currently it says 4.0 mini, but this output was actually on 01 Pro because different Chrome windows, I have different Google accounts. So here it says, in prompt engineering, we are often encouraged to assign a role at the top of the prompt. What does that do? People claim that this will give better outputs, but how true is that? I asked a very neutral question over here. I didn't pre-prompt it. I didn't do any tricks on it. And this was the output. Assigning a role is effectively telling the language model, answer as if you are blank. Okay, this can shape both style and substance. So style and substance, all right? So you give a contextual priming. You guys can have a read at this at your own time, but there are limits. The limits is no magic bullet. Simply stating a role doesn't magically transform the model into a subject matter expert if it lacks the relevant data. It can only reconfigure or reprioritize the knowledge the model already has. Risk of overpromising, which is exactly what I told you. Some prompts promise you are top-tier professor of astrophysics. as if it endows the model with specialized knowledge it might not otherwise have. In reality, the model is limited to what it was trained on. If the user asks about specialized or obscure topics not covered in training, the model's output can still be flawed. And that's very important, because if you want to position yourself as a thought leader in the world, you got to have your own thoughts. You got to have your unique thoughts and unique ideas. Maybe your unique ideas is simply a rehash and rename of other stuff, but it still has to be uniquely yours. And if you are asking the AI to generate for you something unique, it's not going to be able to do so because it's not trained on you. It cannot read your mind. Okay, you got to train it. So prompt competition, if the rest of your prompt contradicts the role assignment or offers more compelling context, the model may override the role. It's not a single directive, but rather one piece of the overall instruction set. So why people perceive it as better? Focused response. Telling the model is a particular type of expert helps focus its answers on details relevant to that domain, which reduces fluff or tangents. However, if you really know what you're doing, you wouldn't have that problem in the first place. Stylistic improvements. Users often want authoritative tone or casual voice. A role assignment clarifies which tone to adopt, which is true. And placebo effect, literally whatever I just said. Some users may conflate role assignment with carefully worded instructions that simply produce better structured prompts overall. It is not purely the role assignment, it's also that the user is paying more attention to how they frame the request. All right, so that's my second proof. My third proof, fourth proof, and fifth proof is going to come from 3 of my best AI processes. The third one, I actually learned it from Jeff Hunter. I did not originate this. My eyes was open when I first learned this, because I was still one of those people when I first started with learning from Jeff Hunter. I was still one of those people who try to come up with content with like prompts, and I was using massive, very detailed, highly detailed prompts, some of which reach 45,000 characters in length, and I wasn't even able to use ChatGPT. I had to use Better GPT, which is a wrapper with direct API integration so that I can access the 128K model. It was very complicated, and then Jeff came along and taught me this. Two-word prompt. Analyze this. And this is a collection of J.K. Molina's emails. Many people know J.K. Molina. He's a very successful business coach. Run a community called Cash Creator, and his philosophy is likes ain't cash. So all I did over here is analyze this. And this is the best content writer in AI right now. Okay. So all you got to do is just compile a list of examples, compile a list of posts, compile a list of emails. And this is very important because AI doesn't learn, like, instructions is simply how to use the data. When you give it data, you are training the model on a specific patterns. So when I gave this conversation, Claude, this list of J.K. Molina emails, it is learning through examples. And that's actually how AI primarily used. If you were to try and prompt it to create such kind of style, it will run the risk of being too fixed, which means that every single email will look very templated, very formulaic, very predictable. Not necessarily robotic, but predictable, which turns people off. Like, people will stop watching, which means that if you have like 20 different prompt structures, you got to come up with very long prompts to, like write 20 different kinds of writing style, which is terrible, very bad, very inelegant usage of AI. So my prompt over here is very simple. Like, in the same writing style, write an email about sales psychology. This is a terrible prompt, okay? Terrible prompt. Like, I cannot be more vague than this, even if I want to. In the same writing style, write an email about, that is the prompt. 9 words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words. It's only 8 words. And sales psychology, very vague. I didn't define anything at all. According to the AI bros, this prompt should never work, but check it out. I just closed a $24,000 client yesterday. No fancy slide, no 17-step sales process, no manipulative tactics. Just a simple Google Doc and the right sales psychology. And most experts tell you that sales is about persuasion. They're wrong. Sales isn't persuading someone to buy. It's about removing the resistance that is preventing them from buying what they already want. And you guys can read it at your own time. But take a look at the output, the quality of the output. It sounds exactly like J.K. Molina without me having to prompt it to do so. Right? 5 permission principles are used to close high-ticket clients without sales calls. It is following its own philosophy, but using J.K.'s writing style, all right? The admission principle, the contrast principle, is even giving it like names of the principles. All right, it's signed off like this. Like from here, you guys got to copy and just change the you know, like the a little bit details here and there, and you got it. So this is like the best content writer ever. And look, there are no roles assigned. There are no abilities being assigned. It's a very simple prompt. So I'm myth busting like 3 different myths altogether: roles, abilities, and the idea that you gotta use a very detailed prompt in order to get good output. Now, the 4th proof that I have is my pride and joy. It's one of the things that I think among all of the stuff that I developed over the past 2 years, this is the most significant AI prompt I've created. And it's this one demonstration does it no justice, because like, so many people have been using it and it has been changing a lot of people's lives. And it is ridiculously simple. It is just a 195 character prompt over here, which starts from 180 character. Help me with that. Ask me one clarifying question at a time and make it the most important one. If I say something that may show a limiting belief, question me until I realize it. And you can try this right now. You don't have to pay me anything. Like, you just copy this whole prompt right here, put it, and it will turn your Claude into an AI coach that, in my opinion, performs better than most human coaches that charges at least $1,000 a month. And it will be able to help with anything. Like over here, I did a role play with this AI coach over here that it says I need to have a difficult conversation with my business partner about missed deadlines, but I keep avoiding it. So this is one of the use cases. There are thousands, if not tens of thousands of use cases for the AI coach. And I just don't have the ability to talk about all the awesome things that it can do in this short little video. But if you want to, I made a video, a full video on it on my YouTube channel, and you can go and check it out. I'm gonna leave the link down in the description, in the first comment, so go ahead and have a look. But it's really amazing. I always tell people that in a world where people like creators are trying to give you 10,000 prompts to solve one problem, this one single prompt will help you solve 10,000 problems. And the kind of problems that it will help you solve the most is internal problems. Internal problems that are related to limiting beliefs, mental blocks, inner conflicts, the things that you need to do but you're having dilemma or sticky situations such as the one right here. But aside from that, it will be able to help you in like all kinds of other things. I have been applying it for my own AI Client Factory program to help my to implement it together with processes inside to help my clients. Every single one of them have access to this one, and I've taught them how to apply to all the different facets of my program, and it actually helps them to take action very rapidly, because the number one biggest problem that prevents people from growing their business is actually just internal blocks. This is what I call hard work, right? HART, hard work, and this helps them a lot. So anyway, I'm gonna give the demonstration over here. This is a conversation where I role play with it to solve this problem and have a look at the kind of responses. The key to this is that instead of you prompting the AI, you are making the AI prompt you, because a lot of the problems that we face is actually internal problems. So over here, I understand you need to address missed deadlines with a business partner, but you've been putting off this conversation. Before we develop an approach, I'd like to understand what specifically has been holding you back from having this conversation. And I say over here, I don't know, I guess I'm just worried it'll turn into a fight, or he'll think I'm being annoying or too pushy or something, which is a very normal thing that like business partners tend to do. It sounds like you're worried about damaging the relationship or being negatively judged. Do you have any evidence that your business partner actually responds poorly to feedback, or is this more about your discomfort with potential conflict? And already it is acting like a good coach. And notice I did not give it any roles to act like a coach. I didn't give it complicated frameworks. I didn't give it anything complicated at all. It's just a very simple prompt. There is, and you can see that this is a actual, like, there's no project, there's no knowledge base. I didn't give it anything. It's such a simple prompt. And on the second output, right, it's like within 1 minute, it is already asking a very powerful question. That's a really important realization. You're assuming the conversation will go poorly without having evidence to support that assumption. This pattern of avoiding confrontation, has it affected other areas of your business or previous relationships? What have been the cause of not having these necessary conversations? And as you can see, it is slowly unraveling the worldviews, is unraveling the behaviors, and one at a time, one question at a time, to help the user prevent overwhelm, right? Because a lot of times AI response is like very verbose, for lack of a better word, like an essay. And here are all of the different things that you can try and all the different things that you can do. And this makes the whole interaction with the AI very pleasant, because it's asking one powerful question at a time. This is the reason why this conversations with the AI coach has been changing the lives of so many people within my community. So if you can, like over here, towards here, like it says a few things that makes it, like over here, it has acknowledged the user's significant mindset shift, and it invites the user to try an experiment. Would you be willing to try planning out how you start this conversation? And then it acknowledges the advances, it acknowledges the progress that is being made by the user. How do you feel about this approach compared to how you were thinking? So this is called ecology check, about the conversation before. So this is all like without me having to give it a download of NLP frameworks, it is already using NLP frameworks. And that's why I'm very, very proud of this like AI process. It's very, very elegant process. So I've used it for a lot of areas of my life, and I use it every single day. I don't really want to show my own conversations because it's very embarrassing, because a lot of personal stuff that that I discuss with it. But you guys can feel free to go ahead and experiment with it. Yeah. So this one is all like over here, and I do have a full documentation that I haven't shown. And the documentation goes like this. I actually hosted a workshop on the AI Coach, how to install AI Coach level 1, how to install AI Coach level 2, how to install the AI, how to set up the AI Tech Coach, and all of the various different use cases. Like over here, personal development and self-discovery, business and professional. Like there are so many different use cases that is the reason why I'm very, very passionate about it. I honestly believe the AI Coach can make the coaching industry quite irrelevant. Like people, like if you have experienced this, you wouldn't want to hire a human coach anymore. You might hire a mentor, you might hire a trainer, you might hire a consultant, but not a coach anymore. Like it's seriously very, very effective. There are some disclaimers and stuff over there as well. Ever since the update on 3.7 Sonnet came out, like the performance has downgraded somewhat, but it is still very good compared to like all of the other experiences of using AI. If you want access to this, including the Zoom recording, I'm gonna put a link down below where you will be able to access this for free on a pay as you wish basis. There's literally a pay as you wish link. If all you gotta do is just like put 0 in there, you can get it for free. If you don't want to, if you want to donate, then you can do so as well, because all the proceeds that I get from here will fund the development of the AI Coach Claude wrapper. So that is my 4th proof, the AI Coach prompt. As again, there's no role in such things. It's very, very useful. And the last part over here, right, is called the MC quiz test. And the context of this is that I was having I did training for my clients, and the training is called BDMC. It is in my program, most of the trainings are written. It is not really like video training, because I find that written is a lot more efficient. And as you can see, it's a very long like article. I expect that every one of my clients go through this article at some point in their journey, and there's actually put in directly into the implementation. However, reading all of these things is very boring, and the problem is that there was no way to track implementation at all. How do I know that the clients are actually implementing all of this? So what I did was I created a process whereby I ideated a process whereby my clients have to take a assessment, have to take a quiz, so that they can find out like where in their life are they already behaving like a main character, and where in their life are they not behaving like a main character. They're behaving like a side character. And this is important because if you want to be an authority, you gotta act like an authority. So it's the whole idea of being and everything. But again, this whole thing of going through reading everything is very dry. I think it's very like no. So I wanted them to do the assessment quiz, followed by showing the assessment quiz to the AI coach that I showed you just now. and have a conversation with the AI coach on how to implement that into their business. That was my idea. And then they go and perhaps read all of these things for better clarity, because once the gaps have been revealed, when they look at all of this, then it provides a lot of context. They will look at it and they're gonna have a lot of aha moments, because now the gaps have been revealed. So doing it this way makes the whole process a lot more fun, a lot more engaging. I recently did an upgrade to this, but I want to show you how this came about. And this whole process, as you can see, like this part here, AI Client Factory MC assessment report. It gives it assesses the user against 6 different pillars: action and decision making, public presence and communication, energy and resource management, authenticity and growth, business and value delivery, leadership and influence, blah blah blah, and also growth opportunities, right? So my score is 95%. I wouldn't trust this score because I'm the creator of the quiz, so I sort of know the answer already. So I may internally, unconsciously create a bias towards it. But if you guys want to try, you're welcome to try. This is a very, very cool process, whereby first the AI will ask you, what do you do? You know, like it introduces the MC energy assessment. Tell me about your current work, business, or main projects. So what I did over here is I literally just copy pasted my entire sales page over here so that the AI can understand. And look at what happens then. What happens then is that it give a confirmation on what it understood, and then it began the assessment. Now, what's really cool about my assessment process, my AI assessment process, is that none of the questions are predetermined. None of the questions are predetermined. None of questions predetermined. The number of questions are also not predetermined, right? And the answers are also not predetermined, because normally you got to do a multiple choice question. And after you go through the entire thing, if the quiz says it's AI powered, what's gonna happen is that they literally just gonna slap, like they're gonna run the scores through some AI to give you a report. Mine take it a whole new level further than that, right? So this part here, like you can see, it says a progress update, principles covered 0 out of 31, categories completed 0 to 6, 0 out of 6, estimated time remaining questions is 30 to 35. I answer 1 question, principles covered is 1. Categories completed is still 0, but now the estimated questions remaining is 29 to 34. The next one, 3 principles got covered, simply because I gave a big answer over here. I gave a transcript of my webinar to answer the question. Categories completed, estimated remaining questions is this one. And it literally evolved the next question based on my answer. And I don't have to like click on multiple choice, even though click on multiple choice is easy. Like, it is not, in my opinion, it is not as accurate as like this, because when it is accurate like this, when the questions are literally based on the user, it can be as accurate as possible. So it is a truly evolving conversation, a very organic assessment process that is not bound by like predetermined structures and whatnot. So this is really, really cool, right? Like, you can't find a AI process that looks like this. And you might think that, hey, you know what, I might come up with a role that says you are a psychiatrist working in whatever not, and stuff like that. But no, look at my prompt. My prompt, there's no roles assigned at all. All right, there's no roles. I go through the MC quiz, I give it a purpose, core principles, introduction, context collection, question delivery, give it a framework on how to do all of these things one by one, and that's it. The total amount of character is 5,500 characters long that I put as a system instruction. And I use AI Google Studio for this because I was testing it, but it is perfectly applicable in any except ChatGPT. I'm not sure if it's gonna work in ChatGPT, but anything with large enough context window like Claude, AI Google AI Studio, it's gonna work. This is really, really cool, and there's no rules. And by the way, the entire prompt here was constructed using the AI coach as well. I told the AI coach, here's my intention, help me with that, ask me 1 question at a time. And the AI led me. I didn't lead the AI. I wasn't controlling the AI coach. The AI coach led me to come up with this amazing, crazy system prompt, right, that allows such a fluid and organic way of doing assessment. Yeah. So hopefully you can see with 5 proofs, you don't really need a role. None of my, like these two things, fourth and fifth, are my crowning achievement. Like it is the best stuff I've created over 2.5 years. Like and people have paid me a lot of money to create stuff for them. This stuff that I give away for free is the best one, yeah. And it doesn't use roles. The best content writer also doesn't use any role, and it is able to write better than all of those prompts that defines that you gotta that tells the AI they gotta behave a certain way, right? ChatGPT itself already confirmed that it is not really necessary, that it is mostly placebo effect, and the first proof I already talked about, the you are God prompt. It already proves it. So with that, if you see anybody who keeps insisting that you gotta use the roles and all these things, this is how you construct a prompt, send them this video. Send them this video, right? And so that they can see all of these things happening with proof and not just theory. The AI world is too much. It's rife with too much theory. It is my mission to sort of debunk and demystify a lot of things that people who are not really using it as a actual day-to-day practice work is claiming. So I'm gonna help you with all of those things. If you guys like my presentation, and if you want more of such BS busting, myth busting sort of content where I show real life proof about my claims and everything, and follow along my journey to grow my own channel, like you can follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, click on the notification button, or better yet, just subscribe take on my offer to download the AI Coach documentation for free, and you'll be part of my community, authority scalers, and hopefully I can see you inside AI Client Factory as well. That's it, guys. That's all for today, and I hope you enjoy. Bye.